What are some very creepy facts? There is a genetic disease called fibrodysplasia ossificans progressiva. When tissue is damaged, it is replaced with bone. Growths form underneath their skin and their joints lock solid, so over time those affected slowly become encased in a prison of bone just beneath their own skin. They usually have to choose between sitting or standing up for the rest of their life. By the end of their life they have to drink every meal through a straw and can barely move. The Colombian serial killer Pedro Alonso Lopez, who is known as the Monster of the Andes, raped and murdered over 300 girls from Ecuador, Peru, and Colombia. However, after he was caught and imprisoned for 18 years, he was put in a psychiatric hospital. There he was reviewed, declared to be sane, and was set free, in spite of his blatant avowal that he fully intends to kill again. Since he was released in 1998, nobody knows where he is or what he's doing. He is supposed to be 71 years old at present. He is known for being the most prolific killer ever. Your eyes have a separate immune system from the rest of your body. If they get damaged in such a way that it affects anything other than your eyes, your regular immune system can attack the damage and will not recognize them, meaning your own body can permanently blind you. What's worse, your body cannot tell the difference between either eye. If one of them gets infected or damaged, your immune system can attack your healthy eye and take away your sight entirely. The men of the ship Essex, the true event that inspires the story Moby Dick, avoided islands after being shipwrecked for fear of cannibals. The islands were settled, and landing there would have brought salvation to the survivors. Ironically, because of this bypass, the men ran out of food and were forced to eat each other for survival. A firewall can go as big as an F3 tornado. In 1923, such happened in Japan during an earthquake. https://n.wikipedia.org/wiki/1923 GREAT_kant%C5%8D_earthquake. The son of a bitch killed 38,000 people in less than 15 minutes. Remember that bath salts cannibal guy from a couple years back? He wasn't high on bath salts when he did that. That was just media speculation and bullshit. They only found pot in his system during the autopsy. We still have no idea why he flipped out. The Chankiri tree is a tree in the Cambodian killing fields against which babies and small children were bashed after their parents had been killed. Rosemary Kennedy was JFK's sister. She suffered from oxygen deprivation at birth, and that unfortunately stunted her mental growth. She had a pretty decent childhood, but as she grew older she began to act out. Afraid that her behavior would risk his political career, her father, Joseph, agreed to have her lobotomized. Her mother, Rose, was against it and forbade him from doing it. So he did it behind her back when she went on a trip. After the operation, Rosemary's already low IQ was lowered even further, to the point she could no longer walk or communicate. Her family had her locked up in an institution and basically disowned her. They never visited and never publicly acknowledged her anymore. Rosemary died at the age of 86. Her mother never forgave her husband for what he had done. Elmer McCurdy, https://n.wikipedia.org/wiki/Elmer_McCurdy, WPROV=SFTI1, was a failed Old West outlaw. His preserved body was put on display in a traveling carnival, and years later he was eventually assumed to be mannequin until he was used on set for the TV show The $6 Million Man. His arm accidentally fell off during the shoot, revealing bone and muscle, and that he was a corpse, not a mannequin. After raping his blindfolded victims, the Golden State Killer would be super duper quiet and pretend like he was gone. And right when the poor victims would start to move towards the phone or try to untie themselves, he would scare the fucking shit out of them. There is a fungus, cordyceps, that can actually brain control insects, forcing them to move to a higher location where they will eventually die and release more cordyceps spores. https://www.youtube.com/watch v=xukjbibbal8. cannibals find the palm of the hand the tastiest. One reason that crows and ravens are associated with death is because they would often follow armies as they marched to battle. Being both carrion birds and extremely intelligent, they realized that a large group of armed men marching on one direction meant that there would be a tasty meal of corpses to eat soon afterwards. Imagine being totally aware of someone performing CPR, but you physically can't move or respond. Well, that's what happens when you get bitten by a blue-ringed octopus. You have approximate 6 minutes between being bitten and someone starting CPR to keep your heart and lungs functioning to ensure you survive, all whilst being totally aware of what is happening to you. Neurotoxins are fun. I once read that you should play dead if a bear attacks you, unless they start licking your wounds, because that means they plan to eat you. That still haunts me to this day. Edit. If it helps, I'm pretty sure I was reading about grizzly bears at the time during one of my fevered grizzly man rabbit holes. Crocodiles can gallop like a horse. I don't like knowing this, so I'm cursing you people with this knowledge as well. Fortunately, alligators cannot. In 1975, the CIA had a heart attack gun. https://www.youtube.com/watch v equals 4m6dldvneci and featur equals youtu. It kills people and then the dart denigrates. Just imagine what is classified now. Your brain can play tricks on you to make you see monsters in the mirror, called the Traxler effect. The Traxler effect is an optical illusion that affects how you perceive things, both visually and mentally. The astronauts aboard the Space Shuttle Challenger most likely didn't die until they hit the water miles below the initial explosion. The US has lost 6 nuclear warheads in total. It wasn't until 1987 that the American Academy of Pediatrics declared it unethical to operate on newborns without anesthesia. Until surprisingly recently, the medical community felt it would be dangerous to give infants anesthesia and/or believed that they didn't feel pain. https://www.bostonglobe.com/ideas/2017/07/28/ when babies felt pain/LHK2OCON 4m3 tal njjwv7m/story.html. There's a spider that gives you a 3H long boner before you die from its bite. Edit. The boner it gives you is very painful. Humans' eyes don't reflect light at night like animals do. I like to say this fact to my wife at a campfire. Since 1900, over 13,000 people have been murdered by serial killers in the USA. There are upwards of 300 active serial killers in the world. The human body can be drained of blood in 8.6 seconds given adequate vacuuming systems. Most people smell different when they are awake. A single tiger has killed over 436 people in India. Sense of impending doom is an actual symptom that often precedes your death, usually in cases of heart attack. Very creepy for some of us that suffer from anxiety and panic attacks to begin with. Both share that symptom. Edit. As many of you are pointing out, yes, I used precluding correctly. // Since 2007, at least 20 detached human feet. https://n.wikipedia.org/wiki/salish_c_human_foot_discoveries have been found on the coasts of the Salish Sea. Polar bears are the only animals that are thought to actively hunt humans. Edit. Maybe not the only ones, but it's good now. Female mummies in ancient Egypt were always more decomposed than their male counterparts. They discovered that this was because male bodies were embalmed a lot sooner than female bodies. Female bodies were kept at the family home until they started to decompose in order to avoid necrophilia at the embalmers. If the sun exploded right now, you would be blissfully unaware of it for just over 8 minutes, while the energy travels at the speed of light to get to you. From *ATLASOBSCURA* by Fodder, Thuris, and Morton. Necropants, reader's discretion advised. In Iceland, a long ass time ago, 17th C, friends followed complex rules to obtain a dead man's skin to turn them into pants. 1. You had to get permission from the dude to use his skin after he kicked the bucket. 2. You would then wait until burial formalities concluded. 3. You would rob the shit out of your buddy's grave. 4. You would cut the waist and peel the bottom half of the body off in one perfect flay. 5. You would then steal a coin from a poor widow, preferably your butts. 6. Place the coin in the scrotum of the necropants to attract cosmic shit, specifically more wealth in life, and leave the groin full of coins at all times. 7. Pass that shit down to your kid. Fun fact, the Museum of Icelandic Sorcery and Witchcraft has a pair on display for all of us sickos to gawk at. Edit, steal a coin. Additional, you are right, it's folklore. What is creepy is that they dedicated a museum to all of this fucking metal folklore and bothered to create a replica of a very disturbing idea. I just thought the storytelling would be fun, and lo and behold, I had some amazing comments come from it. There's a parasite that enters a fish's mouth, eats the tongue, and replaces itself as the fish's new tongue. The origins of vampires as we know them. Basically your body has gas buildup when you die. I'm not medically inclined enough to explain why. Basically the gas has to escape somehow, and so it would pass through the vocal cords in the throat. This creates the low moan that makes the body sound as if it was in pain. The people back then had no idea what was happening and random bodies would just start moaning in pain. And thus they believed that the bodies were rising from the dead. And when stabbed, the gas escaped otherwise. Thus leading to the belief that the only way to stop a vampire was to stab a dead body in the chest. This also led to a lot of strange burials. I pointy the man that was buried in a stone wall to prevent him from rising from the dead. I can't really blame them. I'd be freaked out too if a corpse suddenly started to make sounds. Creepy for some, but I find stuff like that fascinating. There's documentaries on it talking about it. I highly recommend them. Edit, words cannot describe how happy I'm that so many of you provided additional facts. I'm having a blast reading your comments. I don't know much about this topic, and so it's great to have a place where more information and leads are constantly being shared. This is the documentary that I saw. https://yauta.b/6bxy8vbffq4. But there's a ton of others out there with more, possibly better, information. If you have any recommendations yourselves, please link them in your comment. I'd love to see them.